In late 2001, joint military forces cornered the architect of the September 11th attacks in the Tora Bora cave complexes. But under the cover of the rugged Afghan mountains, he slipped through the dragnet and vanished. To stay hidden, Osama bin Laden made a highly disciplined tactical pivot. He ordered a complete technological blackout. Al-Qaeda's high command systematically severed every satellite phone link, radio transmission, and internet connection they had. They replaced modern electronics with an archaic analog network. Across the mountain peaks, operators communicated using optical mirror reflections, and physical messages were handed off to a chain of hyper-vetted human couriers. When urgent global communication was absolutely necessary, they used a dead-drop loophole. A courier would log in to a standard shared email account, type a message, and save it to the drafts folder. A second operator on the other side of the world would log into that same account, read the draft, and delete it. The data never actually transmitted across the web, making it invisible to interceptors. By strictly reverting to 19th century tradecraft, a single man effectively blinded the multi-billion-dollar digital surveillance apparatus of the United States for nearly a decade. For 10 years, that perfect operational security held. Then, in August 2010, the target's most trusted courier, a man named Ibrahim al-Kuwaiti, made an error. Needing to handle a quick logistical detail in the city of Peshawar, he turned on his active cellular device for just a few seconds. That was enough. NSA tracking matrices instantly locked on to the cellular signature. CIA field units deployed to the city and began physically shadowing Ibrahim's white Suzuki Jeep. They followed that Jeep directly to Bilaltown, a neighborhood in the city of Abbottabad. It pulled into a massive, custom-built compound situated less than a mile from the Pakistan Military Academy. A decade of perfect evasion, defeated by a single moment of human convenience. Once the CIA had the location, they began a structural diagnostic of the compound. The architecture completely defied the normal behavior of a wealthy local resident. The property was valued at nearly $800,000, yet it lacked basic internet drops or external telephone lines. It was entirely enclosed by 18-foot concrete walls, topped with barbed wire, and the main living quarters featured a complete deletion of outward-facing windows. The behavioral patterns of the residents were equally strange. They burned their own trash rather than putting it out for collection. Most suspiciously, a third-floor balcony was wrapped in a bizarre 7-foot privacy wall, specifically designed to hide a tall silhouette the CIA dubbed the Pacer. To secure presidential clearance for a cross-border raid, intelligence officials wanted biological confirmation. They recruited a local doctor to run a fraudulent hepatitis B vaccination drive in the neighborhood, hoping to harvest a DNA sample from the children living inside the compound. The courier blocked the medical workers at the gate, and the DNA trap failed. But the sheer density of those architectural and behavioral anomalies gave the White House the circumstantial confidence they needed. They authorized a physical breach. On May 1, 2011, Operation Neptune Spear commenced. 2 highly modified stealth Black Hawk helicopters, coated in radar-absorbent materials, crossed into sovereign Pakistani airspace, flying aggressively low to mask their approach. As the lead helicopter arrived to hover over the compound courtyard, it encountered an aerodynamic failure state known as settling with power. Those massive 18-foot walls blocked the outward flow of the rotor downwash. The turbulent air bounced off the concrete, recirculated up into the rotors, and killed the aircraft's lift. The pilot expertly managed a controlled crash, pitching the nose down as the tail rotor sheared against the perimeter wall. Instantly, a silent infiltration turned into a deafening, ticking clock emergency. With the top-down roof assault aborted, the SEALs executed a rapid tactical pivot. They deployed C4 charges to blow the exterior gates and systematically cleared the lower guest house under fire. Pushing up the main stairwell to the 3rd floor, operators breached the final bedroom. The mission commander visually identified the target, and 2 precise 5.56mm rounds ended the 10-year manhunt. During the physical verification, the team realized an absurd logistical oversight. They had forgotten to pack a $10 measuring tape. A 6'2" SEAL had to lie flat on the floor next to the corpse to mechanically verify the target's height. The United States had deployed $65 million stealth aviation to penetrate the border, but the mission ultimately succeeded because the human operators adapted to catastrophic technological failure on the ground. With the primary target neutralized, the SEALs had a strict 40-minute window to execute their secondary objective, a total intelligence strip of the compound, before the Pakistani military arrived. They pulled dozens of decrypted hard drives, cell phones, and operational locks. Inside those drives were hundreds of thousands of files that deeply contradicted the target's carefully cultivated public persona. Alongside operational planning manuals, analysts found folders filled with Disney movies, Super Mario video games, books exploring alternative 9/11 conspiracy theories, and a highly extensive collection of adult content. Securing this data was a massive strategic victory. It allowed intelligence agencies to quietly dismantle the image of a pure religious ascetic, exposing him instead as a heavy consumer of Western media. Back in Washington, the White House faced a final critical geopolitical variable. How do you dispose of the world's most wanted man without creating a permanent martyr shrine? They looked at the historical lesson of Saddam Hussein. After his execution, Hussein was buried in his hometown of Tikrit. That physical grave quickly transformed into a pilgrimage center and a rallying point for extremist cells. To prevent that, the body was flown directly to the USS Carl Vinson, an aircraft carrier stationed in the Arabian Sea. By moving the remains into the ocean, the United States ensured no land-based nation would have to accept them. Following strict cultural baselines, the body was washed, wrapped in a white cloth, and given Arabic prayers. Then it was attached to a weighted module and released deep into the ocean currents. Operation Neptune Spear operated on a core understanding of asymmetrical warfare. A physical grave is an explosive asset. Sinking the body was the ultimate act of historical and ideological erasure.